mistakes. The journey's not here to be agonized upon.
Oh, welcome back, Mere Mortal Notes, to another edition of the Mere Mortals monthly goals. We have August monthly goals, and if you've ever kept tune of our monthly goals, what we like to talk about what we accomplished in the monthly goals in the past, the future look towards our monthly goal that's coming up. So for us, it's August. We're recording this on the 4th of August. You've got Juan here from Brisbane.
And Kyrin here, Pod Home in the box. Well, not pod. Yeah, we're using Pod Home as our host, but I am in a little pod here, and it is my home for this next week. So I am in the Pod Home as well.
Correct, and he's over in LA at the moment. And look, we're going to just reflect back on the monthly goals of July and talk about our August goals now for myself at the very least. July, for me, the monthly goals were basically non-existent, which was good. It allowed me to just reflect on what I was preparing to do. It was just all about preparing the August goals, which for me kind of coincides with annual goals moving forward. So we'll talk about that in the annual goals. But for me, look, I accomplished the annual goals and the monthly goals, and you'll see how that reflects in the coming up on. It was just really enjoying up the month, which I totally did, getting up a lot of big things. So that's kind of on my side.
Brilliant.
But for you, Kyrin, how'd you go for July?
Yeah, I had a fair amount of stuff going on. The usual 8 connected to my 8 long-term goals. Eye contact, smile, touching, don't attempt iffy jokes. I didn't do any of that and had some pretty fun interactions with the Brazilian ladies and also random. I'll talk more about Americans soon, but yeah, some funny interactions here. Continue saying yes to everything and asking about events. I think I did that pretty good. There was probably only 1 or 2 things in Brazil right at the end where I could have gone to, but I was also going, I got to pack and do other things. So that was pretty good. Transform gym data for future use. Did not do that. Was just busy doing other things. And I knew that would happen as well. So that was just like a random one put in. Watch Coach Bachman vids, continue stretching and check form. This one was actually kind of funny because what I've realized with this is this one's been on here for a while, right? This Coach Bachman vid. I imagine other people are kind of similar to me where they'll have a tab up and they'll just go, oh, I'll watch this at some point. I'll keep this tab open. But then it'll just be there for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and you just never actually do anything about it. Well, I had this video of his for probably 2-3 months just sitting up on my laptop. And what was the actual impetus that actually made me watch it? Well, I found out that he actually lives here in LA. He's in Santa Monica, which I had no idea about. I was just mentioning it to Dave, and he said, oh yeah, he's here. And I actually went to his handstand class this morning, and so did some work with him. It was really basic, just up against the wall and stuff, but he gave me a couple of helpful pointers. And I made sure to watch that video that I had used there for finally. So physically takes me going to a class to be like, oh shit, I should probably actually watch this thing that I said I should watch for 3 months.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Continue not using social media. That was bad. I downloaded all the apps basically to connect with people whilst I'm here, which has been useful, but also, yes, I have been watching and just like looking at still trying to avoid the politics, but just getting into other random social media funny videos, cat videos, Olympic memes, all that sort of stuff. So it's been good and bad, but
just a heads up as well, and I'm not sure if you're in the chat or something, but you keep cutting in and out.
Yeah, okay.
The audio side.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do much, man. I'm just the Wi-Fi here is what it is. So
what it is.
Cool.
I can just be aware of it, folks.
Yeah, as long as I'm recording on my end, you're recording on your end, I can get those two merged together nicely for the end product.
Yeah, cool.
Research some places, events that could be amazing. Yeah, I've like I said, randomly coming across Coach Bachman. That was, not well researched on my end, but it did pay off and came about. Be strategic in preparation, fearless in making mistakes. Yeah, I kind of right towards the end, I was just getting lazy and not doing as much Portuguese. So when I go back, I'll hopefully get back into it. And then investigate samba, capoeira, line dancing, because I thought, oh yeah, maybe I'll have some time in Nashville. I did not. 3 times yoga per week. I ended up doing about twice, and finishing the book. Nah, that was, yeah. This month was busy. It was busy, just prepping, planning flights, some financial stuff, end of year taxes. I didn't get as much as I kind of would have liked done, but I still got some stuff done. So okay, acceptable. All right, so Juan is still in the house, I believe, and I'll just jump on to our next section here, which is just thanking supporters and whatnot. So this is where we just like to thank everyone who's helped contribute to the show over this last 3 quarters now. So, over the last 3 months. I'm just going to do this on a quarterly basis. You can see from April, May, June, it was a bit of a smaller month than smaller quarter than we're used to. We usually do a little bit more, get more sats in than that. But obviously, since I've been traveling, it's been a lot more haphazard in everything. I haven't been doing the value for value show. These podcasts have been once every 2 weeks. So yeah, it's been a bit more haphazard, so that makes sense as well. But just cool that people are still contributing to the show. I actually met a guy in Nashville who was contributing to the book review show after I told him about that, so that's been really cool. So if Juan is still there, and I hope he is, we're going to jump into his monthly goals, and we'll see what he's got coming up in August.
Absolutely. I was going to say something on the sats as well, I guess, in the incoming. It would be interesting also to map it towards, and not that we're going to do this, but it would be interesting to see what the difference of that growth looks like if you compared it to the equivalent like fiat, given the fact that sats or Bitcoin just in general has gone up in price.
I do that. So typically we were getting about 500 Australian per quarter, and it dipped down to 180. So yeah, it was
Gotcha. Okay.
a third as much support as normal. Yeah.
Cool. Glad you actually checked in. Cool. Let's do the August 2024 goals. So Kyrin's got it up on the screen as well at the moment.
Yep.
I've got a couple of other little notes as well that I can talk about. But overall for me, so again, I won't get deep into the where it maps in from a new annual goals perspective. But for this month, it's for me, goal very much is elevating the workouts, enhancing the content that I'm putting out, embracing a couple of new journeys and reflecting on some growth. So we've got 7. Again, for my side, I map things to body, mind, and soul. So I've got 2 on the body aspect. 1, basically at every gym workout, I'm going to be lightly loading my lower back races. Why? So basically every single time, I want to just be going in and doing what's called the GHD machine, basically just lowering my lower back up with some weights just to strengthen it. And by strengthening, I mean just keeping it warm, it's supple. One of the things I've noticed over the last few months, and honestly years, is where I get some, like, is usually on the lower back side, or that's where it gets, I would say, when I'm lifting. So just giving it some attention, right? And you're going to see that as a bit of a call out across the year as well. Just different areas of the body getting different attention. So there's that. There's 2, continuing the long run progression week and making one of them on some sort of different surface. So this for me is it's more running that's being done at the moment. I usually am running in the Brisbane area. It's usually in New Farm, Milton, the area, but I'm trying to find, and this connects again to an annual goal of running around in kind of different areas where it's
Lava
or like,
gravel,
not road, not sidewalk. So it would be fun
water.
to just do godlike water walking. So water running. So it's probably like mountain running, or maybe just something different. So it's not, and the reason why I think is that way I'm not just so connected to the distance and the pace, but instead it's more around the it's the act of the different movement than it is just being in the gym. So
Sure.
those are 2 the body ones for the month. In the mind category, 1, and I've kind of almost shot myself in the foot by this, but I think I'm gonna have to progress with it anyways, which is creating some sort of apparel to give to Chris Williamson on his Aussie. Why I say this is because part of me then thought like, oh, is there something I could have done that's probably like interesting? I'm going to commit to it because I've started already putting together a bit of an idea around it. But why it's in November? I'm fairly sure it's November. Actually, I got to double. Chris is coming over to the. I've got one of those tickets that you can go and meet him in person and go and have a chat. And so I thought, at the same it would be cool to like give him, I think he even called out on one of his podcasts, I want to just try out the different zine. So I'm going to definitely get him some Tim Tams and Vegemite. Then I went, what's one of those things that I can do that's cool, but also helps, us as mere mortals connect with potentially. I went, might be cool to do a little like unique shirt that's both something that I'm like, I wear and also like hey, you can have like two copies of it as well, take it away as a little bit of like memento from Australia. So we'll see what that looks like.
Cool.
They do not come cheap. I'm going to tell you this, folks. If you want to create apparel, it's pure, unique, like short amount of orders, it's very, very expensive. Next one, I want to play around with the content to try out new presentation styles, podcasts and shorts. So the you mere mortalize at home wouldn't have seen this. Been playing around with the content and what it looks like or how it gets created. Actually, I started doing that with the convo with Michael Fox in the quotes. So again, presenting it in a different way. Interestingly, is one that I didn't expect. Our usual quotes that I probably do with a conversation or a book review, and I'll put them in. Honestly, we don't really get that much interaction. As we've said before, we get a little bit in the form of people like seeing the podcast is still available, but perhaps not really any interaction, which is fine. I created a couple Michael Fox conversation and posted them over on LinkedIn, and perhaps it's just more type of style suited there, but it got like a ton. I think it was like 2,000 and something impressions and like 10, 12 shares, heaps of likes, like heaps of interactions. And I saw it actually even translate directly into people going to the links and listening to the audios and the videos. So I was like, wow, cool. Like that was unexpected.
Nice.
So yep, just playing around with the content and trying out new presentation styles. There's a couple of like solo episodes that I want to do and other book review stuff that I'm just thinking there's other ways. So again, continue playing around. Fifth one, beginning the Italian journey. Salve. So yeah, just beginning new language. So it'll be easily explained in a moment as to why I'm doing this. But yeah, I just thought it also was time. French, goodbye. It's time. It's the end of going to our progress, and even quicker than I'm probably sure you felt it, Kyrin. I already feel like some of my French is like slipping away. Not obviously just on it all the time. Like I wasn't on it that much, and now that it's gone down to zero, I can recall a lot of things and talking about it. But on other parts, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten how to say this or a color or something like that. So yeah, it's interesting how much you learn and pick up start to go away. So I feel like I need to put in like a monthly refresher or something around it. But the Italian journey begins in relation to language. So once
Very
again.
good.
I'm using Duolingo. I'm using potentially wanting to read an Italian book at some point. And as you might expect, it's very, very easy so far in comparison to learning maybe other languages for me, just because they're all kind of in sort of similar Latin structure of Spanish and French and all that.
Yeah, Italian should be not too hard.
Yeah, the last two in the soul aspect. So why Italian? Some people might say. Well, 6 years reaching out to all possible photographers to gather information on best deal and possible backwash. And you might say, what photographers? What are you talking about photographers? Well, myself and that will be happening next year. And for us, it's one of the first things. So we asked ChatGPT, we looked around the web, and we're sort of planning and seeing what are the details, what are the things we need to do first and last, and all that sort of stuff. Usually, a photographer is kind of like where you have to kind of begin. Karen, a question for you: how early do you think generally photographers ask you to book them in for a wedding?
I mean, reasonably, I would have said give them a 3-month a 2 to 3 month kind of buffer. So like 2 months out is what I would think. Like, oh yeah, you probably should have booked one by then.
Honestly, I would have might have even said sooner. I would have said maybe like 2 months, maybe like a month and a half. Wrong. We're both wrong, Kyrin. That's just the reality of life. 1 year. 1 year is the expectation. So I was
So
like, what
absurd.
in the hell is going on?
I mean, I guess the only
ridiculous.
thing with that is, I know roughly from what I gather, it's not just 3 hours of a day, or 4 hours of a day. Like if I'm thinking about Joey's wedding, that was a full day thing, and he probably spent, I don't know, another 4 days after that editing or something like that. So if you're asking for a 5 day time commitment, I kind of understand, but I mean, like a year out, that seems excessive.
It does. It seemed very excessive, but in any case, we're going through it all now, and just get as many photographers. Obviously, there's a few select different in terms of the photographer that we have. I won't delve into a whole host of details there, but yeah, there's obviously some complexities in getting the right photographer for the right location, etc.
Yeah, for sure.
Last one for me is 7. Reflecting at the end of the day on my journaling if I stumble upon something in the day that may be more mentally fragile. Look, the reason I wrote it this way was opposite, there's the word anti-fragile, which I guess a lot of people you might have heard of it before, you might have even read the book before, but for me, it's become really, really useful to track from a daily basis when I journal down notes to focus on a particular thing that I want to focus on. It's easily, whenever I've put goals in the past to go, oh, yep, I want to focus in when this is happening, and if it happens, then, think about it. It just doesn't happen, not in the moment. But if I can at least do a daily reflection on a particular thing that I want to focus on, it helps moving forward to then recognize it in the moment in the future as it goes on. So for me, it's just noting down mentally fragile, and by that I mean not outside of the realms of being, not being crazy in the sense that, you hit your toe on the wall and it hurt, and you're mentally fragile. You should have just not thought it was hurt and whatever. No, not anything crazy like that. But more along the lines of, again, 3-4 things came up or that you needed to do, and there was a sense of panic, or there was a sense of I can't accomplish this. So it's more along those lines, I guess, as an example. So once again, that just falls on line existing practices that I with my daily journaling and being able to reflect on it. So those are the August 2024 goals for me, which is there's a lot of good stuff in there. I'm really excited to start moving away, at least for the moment, on any fitness things, which is like, I accomplished this, so go do that. Because I'm already kind of doing a lot of things anyways. In fact, you might really looking at his goals, my workouts have on average gone up in hours, both in gym and in. So it's more just around taking care of the body. So I think that's a big piece. So
yeah, there is already
that's
a
August
noticeable
August
difference there of just less hecticness when it comes to the workouts and things. Cool, that's a good idea, man. All right, I'll jump into my August 2024 goals. So have fun approaching and being silly just whilst traveling, especially, is just trying to have some fun and talk to random people. Once again, Americans are just, their culture is so different. I'll talk more about this in the meanderings that we do after this that's released. Don't let money be the issue for a unique opportunity. So I was really just looking at, things, what are some things that I could do or just wouldn't happen again, and am I letting any money related stuff getting into that, because everything here essentially costs double, and so it's just and then especially because I have been in Brazil where everything it costs half, so essentially everything here costs 4 times more than what I've been used to for the last 3 months. So it's just like, ooh, that that Uber ride, which I normally catch for $3.50 Australian, has now jumped up to like $35 or something. It's just like, well, yeah, it's not the exact same equivalent. It probably is about 4 times as much though. So yeah, it's just like, wow, okay, don't. But I shouldn't let that stop me from, touring LA with some random new friends or something like that, or trying, cinnamon rolls here, which are, in my mind, an American classic thing, and I'm just, being stingy over what's essentially like $10 Australian or something. So yeah, that's on that. Get started on tax work. Ugh, financial things, pain in the ass, but it's got to be done.
Yeah.
I haven't watched all the Coach Bachman vids, so I want to start doing that more. And I've been doing this kind of basically like daily morning stretching for the last roughly month-ish, and it has helped improve my workouts. Just getting a bit more loose at the start of the day, I feel. So I want to just continue doing that, both whilst traveling here at the moment and then also when I get back into Brazil. Once I've finished traveling, I'm getting rid of all unneeded apps. So just doing a clean sweep and just getting rid of everything. I need to do that. Want to book and plan the trip to Rio de Janeiro, which is getting close towards the end. I've basically booked all of my flights now back to Australia. So at the moment, it's just little inter flights and planning and things like that. Try cutting out the drawl and ers and likes. Maybe it's because I'm here in the land of the free and you can say whatever you want and people really like to say like. But I noticed the other day that I was saying like a lot more here. And I don't know if that's just because I'm, subtly, subconsciously trying to fit in more with the Americans, or if that's just a Kyrin thing that's popped up. But yeah, I heard it and went, oof, no, I gotta stop doing that. And then the final ones, investigate samba and capoeira. So that would particularly be when I'm back in Brazil and probably particularly in Rio. I think that would be really cool to just try and go to a class of one of those. 2 times yoga per week, so getting back into the yoga again. And then I want to finish this book that I have been reading off and on for, the last 3 months. Capitães da Areia by Jorge Amado, I think his name is. So yeah, that's all my sort of stuff. It's kind of just, I'm getting towards the end of my yearly goals here, so it's really just trying to clean some things up, just work on things, and honestly just enjoy my travels. And basically I get back to Australia in October, and that's when my new yearly goals start. So I'll kind of be coming back and then just trying to get fresh into a whole new set of things. I'm going to jump now into the fitness stuff. I'll just talk a little bit, and then Juan can just say how his fitness has been going. I still do my points challenge thing here. Complicated, unnecessary perhaps, but still keeps me on the track in terms of what I want to be focusing on. And if you look at the screen, and if you can just untangle all the stuff there, you'll see on the kind of bottom right hand side there's just a lot of gaps, and that's basically all one arm stuff. I just need to get better at one arms. That's the main goal. Once again, I think when I get back in October is when I'm going to really set out a new plan, join back at Total Fusion, get I think a solid 6 months of just really dialed in, locked in routine, and that's kind of going to be my goal going forward. And yeah, so at the moment I'm still kind of just I'm doing one arm work, but I'm also, I would say, focusing more on prep for one arm work, because it's just a beast, man. I've still just been having like these issues in my left wrist, so also trying to let that heal a little bit. I was having issues with the right kind of neck vertebrae. I think it's not impinging as it was perhaps a month or two ago, but yeah, still kind of feels like something's in there a little bit. So yeah, man, just the grind at the moment, and I am enjoying it. It's also, I think, getting to 32 years old, you do start to feel the body start to wear down a little bit, and you need to be more smart and careful about how you exercise and recover and repair and all those sort of good things. So that's me. How about you, Juan? How's your fitness?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it's kind of equivalent where on one hand, the training, how could I describe it? I'd say parts of it all has been going really well. I've been accomplishing everything I've been wanting to accomplish as part of like the running track that I put myself down to, which has been really good. And I can safely say now it's transitioning away from being boring, or I get up and I'm like, oh man, I want to run too, like no, this I'm okay. I'm not like delighted like I would get for a training session, but I'm okay. I'm like, yeah, good. Me and a friend here in Australia, Mansfield, we signed ourselves up for a half marathon, as you very rightly called it out, early next year. So while he's sort of like, oh yeah, we got to start preparing, I think I've got a half marathon like distance prepped already, like 4 weeks as part of like the training. So that's just what it is. So that's been going really well, and I've been finding no real issues from that at the moment, apart from a little bit of soreness. The gym training, man, that's been going really well. So odd. I ran this exact routine 5 months back. I don't have exact dates, but I ran it, and my numbers in terms of my top total and what I was lifting in was decreasing. And part of it, I think at the time, was one, just such little. I was having 2, not enough food. 3, I was also combining it with a few other CrossFit moves and maybe some running around there. I think there was just a lot, and kind of told me like, yeah, I'd overburden myself with what I probably could handle. This time around, I've pulled back on all CrossFit completely, so it's just purely weightlifting, some bodybuilding, powerlifting, and the running. And I'm on week 5, coming up to week 6. I think that's about right, or coming up to week 5, and already in the lifts or the numbers that I'm supposed to be doing, whereas before I was either struggling to get it or not getting it at all. I'm now doing, even in workout sessions, like plus 10%, plus 15% of the weight I'm supposed to be doing it, just because I'm like, this is fun, like I can do this. So yeah, training's been really, really well. And so now the focus for me is that I can see that they've got a couple of things in the horizon of what I want to do, but all of that is just going to be supported by the key places in my body that usually fall apart don't. So lower back and a few other things. So for instance, last week actually, I could feel my joints, especially my elbows, my wrists, my knees, starting to get a bit of a bruising, a battering. So it wasn't even muscular anymore. It was joints and tendons. I went to go get a massage actually yesterday, and I told them like, oh, my triceps are really, really cooked. Now they almost didn't, and I'll talk about that in the next session, I think. But anyways, got a bit of work done, and today I'm like, oh, cool. Like I feel nimble, feel nice. I feel ready to rock and roll. So yeah, training's been going really, really, really well. Honestly, it makes me kind of be like, man, I don't want to travel for a long time. I just enjoy this. And yeah, part of it as well is just some plans we've got over the next couple of years about what we want to be doing. Solidifies for me, like, yeah, it's the path I want to go down for. So in any case, yeah, training's going really well, man, really, really well.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, the last time I felt at the top of my game, one arms, when I got the Stalder, it was in April. Was it April when I came to Brazil? Yeah, at the end of April, I just was feeling, tip-top condition, and then that's when I had to fly home, and Mum passed away, and so it was just, yeah. Since then, it's just been all over the shop, really. So I'd love to get that again. I'm looking forward to having just a normal routine for a while, and at the end of the year that should be good in good weather as well. I imagine, is Brisbane starting to warm up on? Is it starting to get more bearable there?
Well, today, one thing that yesterday we had like a really, really fun day. Just here at home, we just got to do a bit of like everything. Me and my partner Kyrin, we did a competition. Actually, did a competition, and I'll talk about it in the next conversation. But
okay.
Afterwards, we lounged around in an area called Towersmith Wharves here in Brisbane, and it was so warm. into the shade because it was that warm. So yeah,
Let's
man,
go.
it's heating up. It's back.
That's what I'm talking about. Awesome. All right, well, we'll end it here for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. This is a Value for Value podcast. If you liked what we were talking about, you'll probably also notice there was no ads, there was no sponsorships, there was no breaks. We're not spruiking anything. There's no subscriptions. All we ask is that if you got any value from this, you just return it in a like kind. You can do this many ways. Simple ones are just by sharing the podcast with someone who would maybe enjoy it. Letting us know if you have any monthly goals, how they are. You can always join us live. We've been relatively consistent, 7 a.m. on a Sunday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, for the past while. So joining in for that. And then if you want to, you can also donate some treasure in. There's a PayPal link down below. Or you could get a fancy new podcasting app, a podcasting 2.0 app, where you get all sorts of things like chapters, images, links, better show notes, just stuff works more. You can listen in live on there as well. And you can also help support us directly within the app with some Bitcoin, sending it our way. If you want to know more about this, meremortalspodcast.com/support. And that is where you'll have all sorts of info. Hang around if you are live in the chat, like Eastside Tony and Scooby-Doo and Patricia are, because we will be doing a Meanderings episode, so telling you all about what I have been doing here in the US, and Juan will go over his whatever that challenge was that he did, and also probably some birthday news. So we'll be going over that shortly. And yeah, that's it for the monthly goals. Thank you, everyone. Juan, take us out.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All me immortal lives. Be well wherever you are in the world. Juan out.
Kyrin out. Bye-bye.
Dude.